This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, how there, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy for today, January the 26th, is a man who was a slam dunk phenomenon. He's now 45 years old, only 45, that's amazing. He actually is an analyst for ESPN. He was a shooting guard slash small forward for many years, 8-time All-Star. He's the only player in NBA history to play 22 seasons. I thought Robert Parrish did it, but Parrish allegedly didn't. Wow. So he has the most seasons played by an NBA player. Can't believe it. And he did it in 4 decades. He was there in the 90s and the 2000s, 2010s, and he retired in 2020. I'm shocked. Parrish had 21 seasons. Yeah, Kevin Garnett too, and Dirk Nowitzki. But man, I can't believe he had 22 seasons. He's the all-time leader. That much. Anyway, he's Vinsanity, Air Canada, and Half Man, Half Amazing. He's one of the greatest dunkers of all time, Vince Carter. Vince Carter started his career playing basketball in Florida, and then he would attend the University of North Carolina to play 3 years of college ball for North Carolina. He was part of a 6-starter rotation that North Carolina coach Bill Guthridge did with him, Anton Jameson, Shamon Williams, Ed Cota, Adamola Okolaja, and Maktar Nadai. Carter would help North Carolina get to back-to-back Final Four appearances in sophomore and junior seasons. And Carter decided to declare for the NBA draft alongside his classmate Jameson. Carter would graduate with a degree in African American Studies. More on that later. Anyhow, Carter was actually drafted by the Golden State Warriors 5th in 1998. A lot of people said he was drafted by the Raptors. Technically, no, he wasn't. Strangely enough, the Raptors decided to trade third number 4 pick Anton Jameson, ironically Carter's UNC teammate, to Golden State for Carter. So it was funny seeing Jameson and Carter actually traded for each other. The Raptors had struggled as a franchise, but Carter was instrumental in helping the Raptors get out of the basement and into playoff positions and all of that. Carter was a fan favorite and all that. He won the NBA Rookie of the Year by slamming and jamming. The Raptors missed out on the playoffs, but they were getting closer and closer. 2000 was the year of Vince Carter, if you can believe that. He led the Raptors to the playoffs for the first time ever, although it was a 3-game sweep at the hand of the New York Knicks in the first round. And then, all of a sudden, All-Star Weekend pops up. They had the slam dunk competition finally coming back after 2 years away from it. Well, the 99 NBA All-Star game didn't exist. In 98, they decided to get rid of the dunk competition for 2-ball or something like that. Some kind of stupidity. But regardless, he was still good. All his slam dunks were historical. He had the 360 windmill on his first attempt of the competition. Not even in the finals, he did a 360 windmill. And Kenny Smith famously said on the TNT broadcast, "Let's go home! Let's go home, ladies and gentlemen! Let's go home! Let's fight who gets second place." And then, of course, he did the between the legs bounce dunk with his teammate Tracy McGrady on the teammate dunk. And then he actually dunked. He spun out from the out of bounds area and hit it in. And then one in commentary, I don't know if it was Kevin McHale, but he said, "Well, we just saw the new out of bounds play for the Toronto Raptors." Well, anyway, Carter would do his honey dip dunk, the elbow in the rim dunk in the final. He easily won. Tracy McGrady actually ended up taking third in that competition. Steve Francis was number 2. But basically, it was just too good to be true. Carter just put a razzle-dazzle stuff. Now, what people forget is that Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter actually were distant cousins from each other. But McGrady was dealt to Orlando in 2000, in late 2000, meaning Carter was the franchise player. I think T-Mac was not happy with his playing time, I think. I can't remember. Anyhow, Vince Carter would finish his calendar year 2000 by helping the Americans win the 2000 Olympic basketball title in Sydney. And let's not forget Le Duc de la Lore, the Dunk of Death, on Frederick Weiss, who was the 7-2 monster for France, and who the Knicks picked 15th overall in the '99 draft. But thanks to that dunk, Weiss could not really do well and get to the NBA. Bad luck. Anyway, Vince Carter was great. In his third season, which was 2001, he had 27.6 points per game. Started in the NBA, 2001 NBA All-Star game. Had a 50-point performance in front of a U.S. national broadcast team with NBC. NBC did a game in Toronto for the Suns against the Raptors, and he crushed them. He helped the Raptors win against the Knicks in the first round in 5 games. Well, remember, it was the best of 5 first round until 2003. And then got to the Eastern Finals. Conference semis, pardon, against the Philadelphia 76ers. It was a back-and-forth affair between Carter and Iverson. It was 3-3, Game 7 in Philadelphia. That's when things happened. Like I told you about Vince Carter getting his African-American studies. This is where the tale turns awkward. Carter decided to go to his graduation ceremony, despite the fact that it was on the same day as Game 7. And all that. But he didn't stay for the whole ceremony. He just got his diploma and headed back to Philadelphia. Because of the logistics, a lot of Raptor teammates didn't like him for that. At worst, Carter had a chance at the winning shot with 2 seconds left. And he bounced it off the rim, and the Sixers won and would go on to the finals against the Lakers. Eventually. Carter was vilified for what he did and all that. I can understand. I mean, what did he the ceremony? He could have got his diploma mailed to him. Anyway, Carter would be rewarded with a 6-year, $94 million extension. Not bad. Unfortunately, the only problem was he started getting career-altering problems with his knees, so he was very fragile, and he couldn't really play that much. Carter was not ready for the playoffs against the Pistons, and the Pistons took him out in the first round. Carter didn't play much following off-season surgery for the 2003 season. He was actually a starter for the East in the All-Star game, but at the last second, Carter gave up his spot to Michael Jordan because it was MJ's last All-Star game. Carter would actually play much better in 2004. However, there was a lot of problems ahead. During the 2004 offseason, GM Glenn Grunwald and the entire coaching staff were fired because they couldn't reach players. Carter was frustrated with Raptors upper management and wanted Julius Erving to maybe come in and all that. Richard Petty, who was part of Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment that owned the Raptors, actually hired Rob Babcock as general manager. The only problem is Babcock was a terrible GM, especially drafting Rafael Araujo ahead of Andre Iguodala. Anyhow, we're not here about Rob Babcock being a cock. We're talking about Vince Carter. Carter was upset that they didn't consider Julius Erving as a serious candidate, so he didn't play. He would actually he wouldn't dunk. So basically, there was a trade request. Carter was dealt to New Jersey December 2004 for Alonzo Mourning, Eric Williams, and 2 first-round picks. The first-round picks were fine, but Alonzo Mourning didn't want to play in Toronto, so they had to avoid that part of the deal. Carter was heavily booed by Raptors fans in his first game for the Nets back in Toronto. He managed to get, I can't remember who he got. I think he got Morris Peterson tossed for something. But anyway, the Nets crushed the Raptors, and Carter put up 39 points. So Carter got a lot of bad treatment from the Raptors. I mean, Raptors fans. That's okay. I understand. However, by 2012, the Raptor fans got a little good and all that. So, no big deal. Anyway, the Raptors would not let it happen. However, thanks to Raptors' 20th anniversary thing, Carter actually got cheered with a video montage between the Raptors and Grizzlies. So he was amazed and all that. Now the Raptor fans have warmed up. Anyway, Carter would do well for the Nets for 5 seasons. And he was just good. The only problem was that Vince Carter was at his best when he took on the Raptors, and that was true in 2007 when the Raptors won the Atlantic Division and would have faced the Nets in the playoffs. All that. Carter would help the Nets crush the Raptors in the playoffs. Carter signed a 4-year, $61 million contract. All that. He still looked good. And all that. And then June 2009, he was traded to Orlando, back to Florida for him, where he grew up. He went to Orlando in exchange for Rayford Alston and a couple of nobodies. So anyway, Orlando thought Carter would provide Dwight Howard with a perimeter scorer and all that. Something that the Magic lacked when they had been swept by the LA Lakers in the finals. Carter did okay. He got the Magic to the Eastern Conference Finals, but lost to Boston in 6 games. This was the only time Carter made it as far as the Conference Finals in his career. And then Orlando traded him December 2010 to Phoenix. In Phoenix, he got his 20,000th point, which made him the 37th NBA player to do that. Carter was waived following the NBA lockout in 2011. He did okay. Then he went to Dallas, signing a 3-year deal with the defending NBA champions. He would be reunited with former Nets teammate Jason Kidd. Carter actually was known for his 3-point shooting as a mayor of Dallas, more so than a dunker and all that, which was amazing. So Carter did very well for himself. In Game 3 in 2014 against the Spurs in the first round, he hit a 3-pointer with no time left to give the 8-seeded Mavericks a 2-1 series lead over the top-seeded Spurs. Unfortunately, San Antonio would get Dallas, although in Game 7. Carter would sign a multi-year deal with Memphis in 2014. And in that time, he moved to 25th on the scoring list behind passing Robert Parrish. Carter would do much better in a sense. Be a good teammate and all that. When he was with Memphis, he was 40 years old. At 40 years old, 46 days old, he became the oldest player to start an NBA game since Juwan Howard in 2013. Carter would get to 22nd on the scoring list near the end of his Memphis career and got to 13th in regular season games played. Carter was signed a 1-year deal with Sacramento in 2017. He had a kidney stone and had missed some time, but he put up a 20-point effort. He moved to 22nd on the scoring list. And then with Atlanta, he signed for 3 years. He played for 3 years. He was when he made his Atlanta debut in 2018, he became the second oldest player in NBA history to start a season opener at 41 years, 264 days old. Only Robert Parrish was older. On November 21st, he scored 14 points off the bench against the Raptors, but got to 25,000 points, which made him the 22nd player to do so. And then he became the oldest player to have a 20-point game at 41 years, 337 days old. Then in 2019, he was 21st on the all-time scoring list, passing Jerry West. And then at the end of the 2019 season, he passed Karl Malone for 5th on the games played list. In his final season, he got to 19th on the scoring list and put himself in 3rd place in all-time games played with over 1,500. So anyway, it was amazing and all that. A lot of pursuits and all that. And he's an analyst for ESPN since 2020. So Carter is the only player in NBA history to play a game in 4 different decades. Well, he started in 1999 and ended in 2020. And then, of course, 2000s and 2010s. Amazing. 8-time All-Star selection. Olympic gold medal. 2nd team All-NBA 2001. 3rd team in 2000. Shows how bad it was. Slam Dunk Champion 2000. Oh, rookie first team and rookie of the year in 99. Sportsmanship Award in 2020. He has the most three-pointers made in one half of an NBA playoff game. In the one half, 8 against the Sixers in the conference semis in 2001. And the first and only 4-year-old to hit at least three balls in a playoff game, 2017 against the Spurs. He holds the Raptors record for most points in a season, 2,107 in 99-2000. Most points in a game, 51. I'm surprised he still has that mark. Well, he did in 2000 against the Suns. Most points scored in a playoff game, 50, 2001 against the Sixers. Most blocks in a playoff game. Vince Carter's not known for a blocker. He's still third in Raptors points and fourth in blocks of all time, which is weird. He holds the Nets record for most points in one year, 2070, back in 2007. And a lot of things. He was on the cover of NBA Live 2004. I loved that game to death because that was when I was introduced to hardwood classics, like the classic jerseys and all of that. Like you could play the Raptors with the Dino jerseys of 95-96, as you see in the picture, and you could play like old school Atlanta, Boston, and even Los Angeles Lakers uniforms when they were the blue with Los Angeles. He was in the movie Like Mike, starring Lil Bow Wow, in which Los Angeles has to beat Toronto to get the 8th seed in the playoffs. There was actually a documentary called The Carter Effect about Carter's impact in the Canadian basketball scene in 2017. So anyway, yeah. Carter married a chiropractor in 2004, but divorced in 2006, having a daughter. But Carter is now married to a NASM trainer, having a son and daughter. Of course, Carter is a cousin with Tracy McGrady, and I talked about Tracy McGrady last year. So anyway, Carter, 1,541 games. That's third in all-time history. 16.7 points per game. Yeah, he was a 20-point guy, and then he was just declining throughout his career. Playoffs, he's played 88 games, 18.1 points per game, only once getting to the conference finals, and that was in 2010. Could have been big in 2001, but no. So Vince Carter, half man, half amazing. I guess now I could forgive him for his trespasses against the Raptors. I guess I can. Anyway, I'm Jump Time, and I do.